So why we are commenting the document in code? Suppose I'm writing here print and say hello world. So by looking at this print statement, we are knowing that I'm writing here hello world. But if some other person is reading my code and I'm say writing here uh, hello world and one more string say hi to all. Instead of hi to all, I'll write here hi to Python. If suppose non-IT person is reading this code and he's not knowing who is this Python. So to let him know what we are doing, we are commenting the things. See, I'll write here what I'm doing. I am printing the statement and saying hello to Python. And what is Python? Python is programming language. Okay, so this is I can say here this is just about 2 to 3 lines of code. That's why we are not we can't see much necessity of comments here. So in comments we can write who had written this code. Say author. Who is the author? Say Mudassir. And we can write here on which date I had created this date. Today's date is 22 May and 22. Okay. As we can see here, starting and ending strings. Can anyone tell me, is this a palindrome? Is it a palindrome? No, it's not a palindrome. Why? Because we are having here 2 2 and this slashes and only 1 5. If I'm having here 2 5, then it would be a palindrome. I think you are understanding. If you are not understanding, we'll have one code for Python showing palindrome. Okay, we'll do that in later sessions. So just don't take tension. And for after writing this author date, I can write here what I'm doing here. Okay, so let me show you. Uh, this is small code. That's why we are not actually needing here documentation. But let me show one more. Let me show you one more code where we are required of documentation. Okay, so let me share my spider screen. I think you can see this spider screen, right? If you are able to see the screen, then type yes in chat box. Okay, so just have a look at this book, what I had written here, everything. Just have a look. It's nearly about, I think so, 96 lines of code. And if I want, I can extend these lines, but I'll not do so. Near about 100, take in consideration. So now, as I'm showing this code, just all of you look at this code and tell me what you are understanding from this code. I think no one is getting anything which I had done here, right? So now, if you are unable to describe what I had written here, then how any non-IT person would know what I had written here? Yeah, right? So for knowing them, we are just documenting here. So let me show you how to document from scratch. Okay. See, already in Spider we are having this at the rate author. Let me cut this and I'll paste it here. Okay. So see here. And for that documentation, we are having hash. And if you don't like hash and you want to see this in green quotes, then you can give this quotes here. Three quotes starting and three quotes ending. This will be your documentation. This will be there in code, but these things will not run. Compiler will accept these things and will run only these things: import pandas from sklearn, import matrices, and that all stuff. The compiler will read and it will interpret and it will show us output. Okay, so now just go for documentation. What would be the documentation here? Say first I'll do who is the author. Author is now on which date I had written. This I had written today, 22 5. Okay. Now what is there in this code? This is machine learning code which is showing us classification task. Okay. I think you are not knowing anything about this machine learning and classification. Let me elaborate. This is a machine learning code which is showing us classification task. Classification means if say I am having a lot many features of say hand and I'm having images of male as well as female. And if suppose I am giving one image to this code as say here I'm giving the path of say male image and these classifiers, these all are the classifiers, logistic regression and that all algorithms we are having, and these will classify the images into male and female category. The classification is just a simple task we are distributing as well as I can say dividing here. Okay, I think now you are getting. See here I'm importing libraries. I can write here, say I'll give hash import libraries. So all the mm, developers, those who are developing machine learning codes, are importing their libraries, say just from start only. All the libraries which I am importing in this code, they are importing in start. But I'm not doing so. Whenever it is required, that time I'm importing that. See here, you can say import pandas, import sklearn. See here, you can say import sklearn dot processing standard scalar. So in further courses, I will tell you how to do this stuff, and you can also just classify and you can also just do machine learning codes. So for this course we are having this Python, so let us focus on Python. I think now you got the idea why we need to do documentation. So after documentation, what is meant by string? You might be having doubt. So this was the string I'm writing, right? On this spider screen also you can see that I was having string, yeah, which is showing me in green screen. And this is the document which is annotated before hash. This is documentation. So string and documentation are having same purpose to show just give the idea what we are doing. So after that we are having indentation. Lot many of you those who are submitting assignment are might be getting this error that invalid indentation or something like that. So I'll write here print and I write here say hi. Yeah. After looking at this code, you might be having there is no sort of doubt here, right? See, I'm writing simply print hello world and print hi here. Nothing any changes. Instead of this string, I'm writing a simple hi. Okay. So when we run this code, see we are getting here indentation error. So what is meant by this indentation? Indentation error is that we are giving here some extra spaces. Can you see? Now that error is vanished. So not to give extra spaces in Python language. So it is printing now. And it is keeping this documentation as well as this string part, and it is just printing whatever we are required for print statements. So now after this indentation, today I'll give just introduction to pandas library. Okay. So what do you mean by pandas library? Yeah, all the very first line of code you should write while going to pandas is to import pandas library. I think you all had imported this pandas library. Am I right? You all had imported this pandas libraries in your VS Code as well as in your Android versions. I think all of you are ready with that stuff, pandas and numpy. Okay, so what is pandas now? So why it is given name as pandas? So basically the main use of pandas library is to analyze the code as well as analyze data, we can say. So analyzing data means uh, fast and flexible access to data is shown in pandas library. Now before moving to this pandas libraries, I want you to read something about pandas, and then we'll pick different data frames in pandas. Okay, so let me give just insights of panda, or I can say introduction of pandas. Pandas is providing us fast, flexible, as well as express data structure. Relation in that data structure, labels in that data structure is provided by pandas. So what is mean by data structure? I think we had some data structure like list, dictionary, sets, and that also. So data structure as those things. How the structure in which we are arranging the data is known as data structure. So data structure in pandas is uh, defined in appropriate ways. Now, what is the abbreviation of panda? As you can see here, I had written here import pandas as PD. So what is this PD? PD is abbreviation. If I'll write then also it is okay. That will import pandas library. But while calling this pandas library, I need to always go with say if let me make one string here. Okay, so you can understand it in better way. Can someone tell me what is this stuff I had written here? So now, as we are writing these things and we are not assigning anything, say let me say here data frame. And when I am printing the type of this data frame, say okay. Now let me just create data frame in fast way so that you can understand. Okay. Now here it is showing abbreviation error, and I'll say import import pandas as PD. So if I'm not writing this PD here, then I must write here pandas. Say I'm not writing this pandas as PD. So this is showing here error of PD. Why? Because we are not defining PD. Say I'm say writing here PD. Not necessarily you are writing PD, but you can write anything like PF, say anything, any sort of thing. Okay. So I'll write all are writing PD. That's why I'm also writing PD. Now let us see here what is error here. Was not closed in C. Why it is showing? Yeah, undefined indentation. See now it might not having any sort of errors. Okay. So why it is showing here NP error? Because we had not imported numpy. Import numpy as NP. All are writing this numpy as NP. So basically what I'm doing here is I am creating a simple data frame. Okay. So if you're not understanding this, let me take a short demo. So let us say here, this is data frame. Say I'll say variable D I'm declaring here. And now I want to create data frame. See, as I had written here column 1, 2, column 1 is having values 1 and 2. And this column 2 is having values 3 and 4. Here, basically I can't see anything, right? मजा नहीं आ रहा देखने को. So let me do it as data frame. So now how we'll see, we can see here. So I am defining here data frame, which is in the library of pandas, and this PD is of pandas, and this is a data frame. So now let's run this code and see what is there in this data is equal to D. I'm passing this parameter as data is equal to D. What is D? We are having column 1 values 1 and 2, column 2 values are 3 and 4. So basically this should look like COL1 and COL2, and col 1 I'm having values as 1 and 2, and say in column 2 I'm having values of 4 and 3. Basically this should look like this. Okay, so let us see what it is showing us. This is showing us error. PD is not defined. Okay, so let us run this cell one more time. Yeah, that's working. And I'll comment out this. Let us run this, and let us run this. See, did you got why we are getting that error? You must check these numbers. This should be in ascending order 5, 6, 7. If you are running this cell first, 4, then it will show us error. Although you are having all the statements here, but it will show error. Why? Because you are not run these above statements. So as we want, we got data here. See, this I'm not understanding anything from here, but here visually I can see what is there in pandas library. So now we are having one activity which we will be performing. Say, uh, did you got insight of pandas? What I mean to say to you, there is documentation already available of pandas. You can see that. Yeah, visual representation of any sort of data is given by pandas. So if you are having doubts, you can unmute yourself now. I'm just waiting for 5 minutes. If you are having doubt, you can ask me. Let me check. I can import data frame directly online. Yeah. Okay. I had to save this data frame offline. So, okay, those who are having doubts can raise your doubts. Till then, I'm importing data. So, this might be very exciting stuff what we are doing today, because playing with pandas is one of the major role we need to perform in industry. So, I think the students, those who are from CSE department, will have machine learning as their main course in third year, and that is taught by our HOD ma'am. And she's also simply starting with this thing, pandas and numpy. I think no one is having doubt. So let me stop recording, and